The SMFA Escape, Self-Management for Actors Escape, is this high-end retreat that we do out in Desert Hot Springs. And the very first time that we did it, very special group of the first class of the SMFA Escape, high-end alumni, folks that have been with us anywhere from, gosh, there were a few people that I met for the first day in person at the SMFA Escape, but we had worked together online for years, all the way up to someone who's been in my life since the book came out in 2003. I think she and I first started working together in early 2004. Just a phenomenal range of a group of creatives, hyphenates, people obviously who are actors, but also people who are creating their own content and building the future of Hollywood. And really fantastic experience. Here we are, first day. We've already, done introductions. We've set our intentions for the weekend. We've talked about the shape the curriculum's going to take, and we're going through. And after having shared our superpowers, which is how can we help one another with that one thing that we do so well that we may take for granted but need to offer up to other people, we were talking about some fears and some blocks. And this is a big part of what we do in addition to the SMFA tools at the Escape. And I was flanked by these two wonderful actors, and one had just booked her first network co-star, and she had just shot it right before the Escape. It hadn't aired yet, but she was talking about how she had this extreme anxiety that was completely unexpected on her part, that she spent the whole time shooting worried that someone was going to come and escort her off set and tell her that she had no business being on that set. She's not a professional. She hasn't worked at that level before, therefore she cannot. And so instead of celebrating this tear jump of finally leaving behind all the indies and the copy credit meals and the self-produced projects and doing exactly what you're doing all that to get to, which was that first huge network co-star, she was freaking out and really not sitting in and enjoying having the scene across from the series regulars of this very popular show. As she's talking about this, the actor over here, who's got an IMDb that we would all covet. Let's just say she's been series regular a couple times. She has been recurring guest on many series. She's been top of show guest star on very popular shows, as well as doing studio feature films at a pretty high level, leads in lower budget studio and high end indie films, gone to festivals, won awards, walked the red carpet, had a publicist. Like she's done all the stuff. She has been a working actor for the better part of her adult life. And you would think that she's going to have the advice that's going to help this actress who has just booked her first network co-star realize that no, you don't have to have that fear. And she surprises us because she says, I still to this day have that exact anxiety. Every set I walk onto, I have that exact same imposter syndrome, the worry, the fear that they are going to come tap me on the shoulder and say, how did you get in here, and take me off the lot. She said it doesn't go away. And we were all like, well, that's not terribly comforting. It doesn't go away. And she said, well, here's how I deal with that. I take a Sharpie on the first morning I'm going to set. I take a Sharpie before I leave my house, and somewhere on my body, I write the words, I belong here. It's my little secret. It's not going to show wherever the wardrobe, I've already done the fitting, so I know where I can put it, that it's not going to be a problem. And I know, and I just can touch it or think about it all throughout the experience of being on that set. And I remind myself, I belong here. I belong here. We all went, ooh, it's really good. It's really good. Throughout the weekend, we continued to, in addition to working the SMFA curriculum and going through all the stuff that we had planned for the weekend and spending hours in the Mineral Springs hot tub and having tears and laughter and so much food and so much fun, going through the self-management for actors principles together and working through mindset issues, which are the biggest things to continue to balance. We kept coming back to this theme. I belong here. I belong here. Because wherever you are, you belong there. You're meant to be there. The intersection of you and anyone you encounter was meant to happen at that exact time, because even if you take a look at how many times you've read the same thing before, heard the same thing before, but it didn't land until it was meant to, until you were really ready for it. So wherever you are, that's exactly where you're meant to be. On Sunday, as we were closing up for the weekend and we're going through what have we learned and what are our takeaways and how are we going to lead the new Hollywood with this arsenal of information that we now have and this set of relationships that we've built over this weekend, I said, could you do me a favor? Could you write down in your handwriting, I belong here? Because I think this is going to be my next tattoo. I think the way I'm going to memorialize this experience and really remember the power of this is this will be the thing I put on my body next. And she said, oh my God, I'd be honored. Let me write that down for you. And she did. And then the more we talked about it as we were closing, I kept going, yeah, I belong here. That's just what it comes down to. And finally, the first actress who had asked the question about how to deal with this imposter syndrome is on her phone. She's like, I'm on it. And she's finding a tattoo parlor in Palm Springs so that as we close up the retreat, anyone who wants to do it can hop in cars and head out to Palm Springs and get tattoos together. And we did. There's mine. And it is mostly in her handwriting. I also wanted the tattoo artist to have his stamp on it. So, and then it's got mine too. So this has my handwriting, her handwriting, and his. And this is the original stencil that went on there for the tattoo. And then each of the people who got tattoos with me took a piece of this and then turned it into theirs. And so it became a living, evolving piece, all based off this beautiful mantra that we got as a part of the SMFA Escape. And I share this because I think a lot of times as creatives, that imposter syndrome is going to creep in. And if you can just remind yourself that you've worked for this, you've gotten your tools in order, you've done all the healthy mindset work, you're centered with this process, or you can be if you're not right this second, with just a quick reminder. And you don't have to get a tattoo in order to have it, but man, it's handy. Just the reminder, I belong here. I belong here. Because you do. And I used to joke that when you are holding up something gold and shiny, I want you to say, thank you, Bonnie Gillespie, because of course that would thrill me. And I've always said that. And it will be wonderful, of course. I mean, it has been wonderful when that's happened on a smaller scale, than the Oscars or the Emmys, when it's happened on other award shows and events. It's fantastic. I want more than that now, to hear you say, I belong here, while you're receiving the applause, while you're holding up something gold and shiny, while you're in the midst of living your dreams. I want you to constantly remind yourself you belong there, because the worst thing that could happen is for you to work this hard to have the life of your dreams and then think you're not supposed to be exactly there. You deserve all the success and all the happiness that life has to give you and to share with you. So stay open to it, stay grateful for it, and remember, you belong here. We all do.